Welcome to ASVAB Speed. In this video, I've compiled 10 mathematics knowledge questions fully explained. Let's begin. Mathematics knowledge. If x plus 6 equals 7, then x is equal to what? Remember to pause, solve on your own, put your answer in the comments. Let's begin. All right, so we are answering for x. Let's rewrite it. X plus 6 equals 7. X is the variable. And to start, we have to isolate the variable. How do we get x by itself? Well, next to x is a positive 6. In algebra, to get a positive 6 to go away, you have to add a negative 6. But you have to remember to do it to both sides. So we're going to subtract 6 from both sides. So just rewrite the equation. X plus 6 equals 7. Here it is again. X plus 6 equals 7. Minus 6. Minus 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. 7 minus 6 is 1. X equals 1. B1, best answer. Mathematics knowledge. What is the area of the square above? Remember to pause, solve on your own, put the answer in the comments. Let's begin. All right, quick review. On a square, all four sides are equal. The square area formula is area equals side squared. And if you're unfamiliar with that little guy, that's called an exponent. When there's a 2 in the exponent, that means I'm going to go side times side. All right, you do that thing 2 times. So let's spell it out. Area equals side times side. Now let's plug it in. A for area and the number 5. So A equals 5 squared. And again, let's be super clear. A equals 5 times 5, which is the same as A equals 25. So D, 25 square feet, is the best answer. Mathematics knowledge. A box contains 20 marbles. There are equal amounts of blue, green, red, and yellow ones. If one of the marbles is picked out at random, what is the probability that it will be yellow? Remember to pause, solve on your own, put your answer in the comments. Let's begin. All right, let's get out the highlighter and mark what's important. I see 20 marbles. There's equal amounts of each color. Here's 1 color, 2 color, 3 color, 4 color. And the question is, if one of them is picked at random, what is the probability it will be yellow? So what do we need to know? How many total marbles? 20. How many total colors? 1, 2, 3, 4. And if we take 20 divided by 4 equals 5, what does 5 represent? 5 yellow marbles. But that's not the answer. We need the probability. And the probability formula is desired outcomes over total number of outcomes. Our desired outcome is a yellow marble. Our total outcome is how many marbles there are. So we take 5 over 20, reduces to 1 over 4. So the answer is C, 1/4. Mathematics knowledge. In the figure above, the sides of ABC are respectively parallel to the sides of DEF. If the complement of A is 65 degrees, then the measure of angle D is what? Remember to pause and solve on your own. Let's begin. All right, let's start by highlighting what's important. Important phrase here, respectively parallel, complement, and we're answering for D. Respectively parallel means they're in proportion to each other. What that means is it's possible for A to B to be a different length than D to E, but they're considered proportional because the angles still equal each other. So angle ABC equals DEF. Now complement. Complementary angle means the sum of 2 angles equals 90. Let's do a visual. Angle 1, angle 2. You add them together, you get 90. So with our problem, we don't know what A is, but we know what the complement is. The complement's the other side, and the other side is 65. So 65 plus A equals 90, and to solve it, take 90 minus 65. A equals 25, but we need to answer for D. And fortunately, we know that A and D are the same. So A equals D equals 25 degrees. Here's our answer, A, 25 degrees. Mathematics knowledge. The cube of 4 is, remember to pause and solve on your own. Let's begin. If you're unfamiliar with cube of 4, same as 4 cubed. This 3 here is an exponent, and it tells you how many times this thing is multiplied by itself. So it's the same as 4 times 4 times 4. That's what that 3 means, or cube. And for you to help with mental math, I like to use twos. What does that mean? 4 times 4 equals 16. That's easy enough. And then 16 times 2 is 32. 32 times 2 is 64. So 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. C, 64 is your answer. Mathematics knowledge. In the formula x equals p plus PRT, what does x equal when p equals 500, r equals 20%, and t equals 2? Remember to pause and solve on your own. Let's begin. So in this problem, we are solving for x. Let's rewrite the problem, and piece by piece, let's get everything plugged in. P equals 500, r equals 20%, and t equals 2. Plug everything in, rewrite the problem. X equals 500 plus 500 times 20% times 2. Let's get rid of that 20%. And we do that simply by moving a decimal 2 places. Let's rewrite it. X equals 500 plus 500 times 0.2 times 2. When I do multi-step problems, I like to start by shrinking numbers. How do we make a number smaller? We're going to do 500 times 0.2. For mental math, do 500 times 2, then move the decimal back. Because do you see, if I just move it one place, later on I'll just move it one place back. So 500 times 2 is 1,000. Move the decimal back, so I know that 500 times 0.2 is 100. Now let's plug that back into the original equation and rewrite it. X equals 500 plus 100 times 2. 100 times 2 is 200. Plug it back in. X equals 500 plus 200. 5 plus 2 is 7. Put the zeros back on for 700. B, 700 is your best answer. Mathematics knowledge. X plus 3 times x plus 3. Remember to pause and solve on your own. Let's begin. Now this equation we have binomials. To multiply binomials, use FOIL. First, outside, inside, last. Let's demonstrate. Rewrite the problem, and step 1 is first, x times x. Then we go outside, x times 3. Do the math. X times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. Step 2, rewrite the problem, and we're going to do the inside and last. So inside, 3 times x. Last, 3 times 3. Do the math. 3 times x is 3x, plus 3 times 3, which is 9. Now we're going to take these two elements and combine them into a new equation. X squared plus 3x plus 3x plus 9. X squared stays the same. 3x's can be combined. 9x stays the same. So we have our final answer of D, x squared plus 6x plus 9. Mathematics knowledge. X squared times x cubed equals what? Remember to pause and solve on your own. Let's begin. To answer this problem, you need to know the rule. The rule is to multiply two exponents with the same base, you keep the base and add the powers. What does that mean? X to the a times x to the b equals x to the a plus b. So x and x are the same base. That means you can add the exponents. Let's plug in our problem. X squared times x cubed equals x 2 plus 3. X squared plus x cubed equals x to the 5th. B, x to the 5th is the best answer. Mathematics knowledge. In the figure above, measurement of angle AOB equals 60 degrees. If O is the center of the circle, then minor arc AB is what part of the circumference of the circle? Remember to pause and solve on your own. Let's begin. All right, let's take the highlighter. AOB equals 60. O is at the center, and we're trying to figure out the circumference. What part of minor arc B is the circumference of a circle? And if we look at the answers, everything's a fraction. So that gives us an idea of what we need to find for an answer. So AOB equals 60 degrees. What does that mean? AOB, 60 degrees. They're saying that this piece of the pie is 60 degrees because minor arc AB, that's the minor arc. Now let's review a circle. A circle is 360 degrees. So this piece of the pie is 60, and they're asking what part of 360 is it? So let's throw in some math. 60 over 360, right? Part of a whole. That's how fractions are, part of a whole. For mental math, get rid of the zeros. So we have 6 over 36 reduces to 1 over 6. And there's your answer, C, 1/6. Mathematics knowledge. A man has T dollars to invest. After he invests $1,000, how much money does he have remaining? Remember to pause and solve on your own. Let's begin. All right, so We start with T dollars. We invest 1,000, and the question is, how much is remaining? And if you look at the answers, this isn't a specific number. This is a variable plus a number. So what do we know? We know that total starting money is represented by T. And if he spends 1,000, that is removed or subtracted from its total of T. Now, when I have trouble with the variable, I throw in a number to represent it just to get my head wrapped around it. So imagine T equals $3,000. And if I spend 1,000, 3,000 minus 1,000 equals 2,000. Now let's plug in our T, and we have a formula. T minus 1,000. B, T minus 1,000 is your best answer. Thank you for watching. At ASVAB Speed, you can watch question walkthroughs in all 9 subject areas, helping you pass the ASVAB faster.